Storytime channel. I'm Lorient.
And I'm Mike.
And we're sitting down to do a little bit of story time with you guys and tell you our proposal stories. Because there are two, not just one. And because of the day we had, and it just kind of feels appropriate to sit down and unwind with a glass of wine while we tell this story.
Yes.
We've got our Pinot Grigio, so cheers.
Cheers. Excuse the snoring dog.
I was gonna say, I want to apologize in advance for the snoring dog. I know a lot of the times I get comments about the bird being loud and distracting. I don't know what's going on with Brody and like his deviated septum, but every time the dog breathes, it's like a snore or a snort, and it's so distracting. He put on weight is the problem. He put on a little weight, like the rest of us in quarantine. He put on a little weight, and it's affecting his breathing. We have to work on it.
He sounds like a little bear cub.
He sounds like Snorlax. Any Pokemon fans in the house? Anyway, I'm going to link up top the story time that we did about like our how we met / like I guess how we started dating, and we kind of touched upon the proposal in that story, but we didn't like go into detail, I feel like. So that's what this video is, and you can kind of catch yourself up to speed on the other one. But basically, Mike and I started dating in June of 2012. And we got engaged a year later. So our story starts like a little bit before a full year. We kind of were like talking about whether getting engaged, whether getting married was something that we wanted to do. Now, albeit, like, let me just, full disclosure.
Right.
In 2012, when we met, I was 21. Almost,
you were still in school.
Almost 22. I hadn't turned 22 yet. I had like 4 or 5 months to go, and you were 22. Yeah. So a year later, we were all of 22 and 23 years old. We were very young to be having the conversation of, do you see this moving towards marriage? But I'm very much the kind of person where I don't mind dating somebody for a while, but I want to know like what we're moving towards. Like I want to know what we're working towards. Right. And I very much felt like you kind of know after a year of being with somebody, you might not be ready to get married, but you know whether you can see yourself marrying that person or not. That's how I feel anyway. I could be wrong. That's just kind of like how I felt. So I was basically feeling it out. I was like, listen. Are we moving in that direction? If yes, I'm on board. Let me stay. Let's you know, see where things go. But if not, like, let's not waste any more of each other's time, right? And so we both felt like that was the direction that we were moving in. I just didn't think it was gonna happen for a little while because like getting engaged is a big step financially. You've got to buy a ring, or you don't have to, but you know, tradition states. You buy a ring, you plan a wedding, you move in together, like all of the things. And I was still in school. You were working like a not super great job at the time.
It was horrible.
and so we did, like, I was working part-time in the weekends. Like we just didn't have a lot of money. You know, not that I needed an expensive ring or anything. I just didn't foresee us making that big of a financial step at that point in time.
We basically just dived in.
We was pumped. So I knew that we were working towards it. I just didn't think it was gonna happen when it did, which is why I was so caught off guard when it happened. But anyway, let's get back into it. So for our 1 year anniversary, we planned a trip. We didn't have a lot of money, so we couldn't like get on a plane and like jet set anywhere. We weren't in Turks and Caicos. We were like, let's go down the Jersey Shore. So we live in Central Jersey. We went down to a place called Diamond Beach, which is like a tiny little section of the beach in between Wildwood Crest and Cape May. There was a new resort being like finished up, being renovated there called Icona is what it was called. Yeah. And so we were like, oh, it looks super nice. Like, let's just stay there. It'll be a nice like weekend getaway. So we planned it, we booked it, we saved and saved and saved for months on end because it wasn't cheap. No. And we went down on a Friday, and that Friday was our actual anniversary. Our anniversary was on a Friday that day. Right. So we were gonna check in, we were gonna hang out and do some things on the boardwalk during the day in Wildwood, and then we went to like a nice dinner that evening. That was the plan anyway. What did we do on the boardwalk? What was that?
We went to a little aquarium or something, right? It was like a little petting zoo, a zoo or something.
Honestly, I had been there before because I went to Wildwood after prom. That's what like everybody does when you're like from this area.
That was my first time in Wildwood.
Really?
Yeah, I'd never been to Wildwood.
Oh, so anyway, I had been in that little aquarium, and when we saw it on the boardwalk, I told you, it's like $20 a person, and it's literally not worth it at all. I'm convinced half the tanks are empty and half of the animals, I'm pretty sure, are like taxidermy. I don't even think they're real. So
there was one alligator that was very suspicious.
It didn't move.
At all.
At all. we stood there and watched it. We went in that because Mike was like, no, let's go. It was a total bust. It was awful. And
those spider monkeys.
No, they were marmosets. marmosets. I don't know, like these little mini pocket monkeys.
They
They're
look
cute.
like spider monkeys.
Yeah, so we did that, and then we went back to the room. We cleaned up.
Right.
And we went to dinner. And we had a really great dinner. It was really nice.
I remember what we had too. You had the surf and turf.
I did.
And I had chicken parm.
Oh my god, that was back when I started
before.
dating Mike. Mike ordered chicken parm everywhere we went. We had a great dinner. It was a good time, good conversation.
Right.
And then, like, the worst thing possible happened.
What?
I got sick. Like, sick.
Girl.
So I am notorious for just like, I don't even know. I'm just notorious for like, I always have like heartburn and indigestion and nausea and just like, I like always end up with problems. And back then it was really, really bad. Like I had flare-ups all the time. So anyway, we got back to the hotel and I was like, I really don't feel well. I really felt like I was going to just, like, sorry to gross you guys out, but I really felt like I was gonna throw up. I was just like everything I had eaten all day, it was coming. So I was like, can you stay in the living room? Like this was a suite, so luckily the bedroom was closed off and the bedroom had the bathroom and there was a whole living room kitchen area. So
but knowing me,
can you stay out here? I need to go to the bathroom. Like if I was gonna be sick, I didn't like want him to like hear it. I was so embarrassed. So I'm in the bathroom, literally taking medication, trying so hard to just like fight the nausea, not throw up, like whatever.
It was the funniest thing ever.
What did you do?
Oh, I broke into her room, of course.
He was like curious, like what's she doing in there?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Like, first of all, if you tell me don't do this, I'm gonna do it. Just because, why not? Anyway, it was very funny.
So he's laying on the bed the whole time. I have no idea that he's in the room. I think I'm alone with privacy. And I literally was so upset because I was like, I'm ruining our anniversary night. It was our first anniversary. I wanted it to be so special. And I literally am like on my knees in front of the toilet praying to God. Like you heard me.
I did.
You heard me. I was bargaining with God.
Oh, Jesus, please. If you just let me get through this night, please. Jesus, help, Jesus, help.
I was like, Lord, please, just don't let me get sick. Let me feel better. Let me enjoy my night. I will be more active in church.
I'm dying. I'm laughing.
He is cracking up in the room. I have no idea. So eventually, I finally pulled
I think once you came out of the bathroom, you saw my feet like move because I was behind the bed.
I pulled myself together and I came out of the bathroom and then I saw Mike in the room and I was like, you were in here
I was behind the bed.
Time?
I was behind the bed because I didn't want you to see me. I didn't want you to know I was in there.
I was like,
and then you saw my feet move.
I was like, oh my God.
Because I was laughing.
So then he goes, let's take a walk on the beach. And I was like, I'm gonna be honest, I wasn't totally confident in this plan. One, our anniversary is in late June, but like sometimes here it's still really cold. It's kind of dicey. So it actually was pretty chilly this particular night. Yeah, it was chilly.
Summertime.
I know, but it was chilly that night because I had on a maxi dress, a strapless maxi dress, and I had to put on a sweatshirt.
I remember that.
So he wanted to go for a walk, and I was like, it's kind of cold out, and like also, I didn't say this to him, but like I wasn't confident that I wouldn't be like halfway down the beach like ready to puke. So so I was pretty hesitant, but he was like really insistent on it. And so I was like, okay, well let me throw on a hoodie or whatever. And then we went for a walk on the beach and it was pitch black out there. And
it was very dark.
It was so dark. There was no lights. Like we didn't even think about that. Like it was literally like we were walking in like
I had
an
it
abyss.
envisioned in my mind, you know, I saw it a certain way and it just didn't go that way.
So yeah, so we're walking down the beach like hand in hand, and then we get to a point where you just started like rambling. It was like a monologue, and he was just rambling on. And I think once he started going, and like as soon as I heard what he was saying, my mind literally went blank because I all of a sudden realized what was happening, and I was just like, it was like a deer in headlight moment. Like I heard nothing. I saw his mouth moving and I could hear sounds, but I couldn't make out what any of what he was saying.
You saw my lips moving, but you couldn't make out a word.
Nothing. I was just like, it's the weirdest feeling when that happens to you, and I'm sure that it happens to people, not necessarily when they get proposed to, but different points in your life where like things are moving around you and sound is happening, but you literally just are like, you can't make out any of it. So That's what I was. Do you remember what you said? Because I don't.
I asked if you would marry me.
Well, no, there was a whole monologue before that part.
Oh. I don't remember.
He doesn't remember it either. Neither do I. This is why people get people to like film this. Not that you would have been able to see it because it was pitch black on the beach.
It's horrible.
So anyway.
I thought there would be like street lights or something.
Yeah, like
on the board, on the pier.
So what did you do after your monologue?
Well, I asked you to marry me.
What did you forget to do when you asked?
I forgot to get down on one knee.
You did not kneel.
I did not.
He didn't kneel.
I thought that was old fashioned. You know, I didn't think people still do that.
He didn't kneel.
You told me to get down on one knee.
Yeah, I went like, this. You gotta get down. Cause then I like snapped back into it. And you did.
I did.
You kneeled and you asked me, will you marry me? And I literally had the ring out in the box and I literally could not even see the ring. I could not even see it.
Because not only was it dark out, it was also very small.
It was beautiful. Stop.
It was tiny.
Okay.
It was what I could afford.
We went over the part where we were poor. Like we went over all of that. Yeah, we were poor. And so
it was like a pebble.
It was so dark. I couldn't see. At least you know I'm not materialistic. I literally couldn't even see the ring.
Yeah.
I didn't know. It could have been like a 3-carat ring and it could have been like a quarter
No, if
of
it was
a
a
carat.
3-carat ring, you would have been able to see it.
It would have caught some kind of light.
Some light would have hit it.
I said yes.
You did.
You
Surprised.
put the ring on my finger, and I didn't even see what it looked like until we got back to the hotel room.
What if it was
because
ugly? What if it was like a moon ring?
A moon ring?
No, a moon ring.
What's a moon ring?
A moon ring.
What's a moon ring?
I think that reads your mood.
That's a mood ring.
They don't call it a moon? A mood ring?
No, it's a mood ring. M-O-O-D.
Oh, see, I always
moon.
thought it was called a moon ring because I was told that the moon reflects on the ring and then it's able to tell you what mood you were in. Man, who knows? Maybe I got it wrong.
You definitely got it wrong.
Yeah, I guess I got it wrong.
Yeah, we went back to the hotel room. We had like treats there that you had gotten from a bakery. I had bought champagne. And we kind of celebrated. And it was a really, really cool moment because like skirt let me back up for a second, but you didn't tell anybody.
I didn't tell nobody.
He didn't tell nobody.
I have reasons. I have my reasons.
Okay, we did. We had, okay. It is true, but we didn't tell anybody. And I remember distinctively before all of this, you had asked me at one point if I, like, you were like, oh, if I did want to marry you, like, would I ask your dad? And I remember saying, no, what is this, 1812? Like, I'm a grown woman, like, you don't have to ask anybody but me. And I don't really like the whole, I get this tradition there and I like that, but like, you don't need to ask anybody to marry me other than me. I don't come with like a dowry, like this isn't like that. So I had said that I didn't like that, and so you didn't.
For the record, if I could go back and repeat knowing what I know now, I would have definitely asked your parents.
Yeah.
For sure. Just because I know that that's what their tradition
that they would have liked. But you didn't ask.
I didn't.
Because
you told me that I didn't.
Well, I said I didn't care, but also why? Why didn't you tell anybody?
Well, at the time, there were so many things against me. Number one, I didn't have a great job. Okay. Number two, we just weren't in a place where that was where we should have been.
Where society would have found
society would have made so many comments.
We knew you know when you want to do something in your life, but you know that if you tell people, there's going to be people that tell you like, no, you shouldn't wait, like all the things, but like you don't want to hear those things.
Right. Well, I didn't want to hear any of those things. So that was another reason which made me not ask anybody. Or tell
anybody, because you didn't tell your family that you were going to do it either.
Right.
So what was cool about that was that we were, I don't know, you're being selfish, because I think that it presented a really unique opportunity for the two of us that weekend. We were living in our own little bubble.
It was nice.
We were the only ones that knew the news. Nobody else knew yet. So it was just us celebrating us and like not having to deal with anybody else's thoughts or opinions, or like, it was honestly so nice.
Yeah.
Like, I know that a lot of people propose with family present, and a lot of people propose and then like right afterwards you go somewhere and family is there to celebrate. And that always seems super nice to me. But at the same time, I loved how private that moment was for us, and like how we had that to ourselves an entire weekend before we had to go home and share that news with our family.
Yeah.
It was nice.
Yeah, it was. And I mean, things slowly worked out the way God intended it.
Yeah, I mean, listen, we're not gonna lie. I think it took a while for all the parties to be on board.
Yeah.
And to be okay with it.
It took a little bit.
And we had a longer engagement just because we needed it for ourselves, to get ourselves together financially, all the things for me to graduate school. And for everybody else to get on board. And I think that long engagement kind of helped. But we promised you stories. So there is a second story.
Plural stories.
There's a second proposal involved in our story.
There's a second part, yes.
So what is the second one?
So, second part of the story, I got the ring originally because that's all I could afford at the time, and that's what we had. That's what I had. And, I wasn't really crazy about the ring, but...
You never liked it.
Nah, I didn't.
I liked it.
I felt like, you know what?
I was just excited to be engaged.
I felt like you deserved better. I felt like you deserved better. And I felt like I could have done better.
That's very sweet.
Thank you. So what I did was what were we gonna do? Get appraised?
We were at the mall.
Ring
Okay, so at the time, this is probably about 8 or 9 months before our wedding.
Right.
And we got married October 2nd, 2015. So now we're like early in 2015. Funny like turn of events. After I graduated, I found a kind of a hard time finding work, and I worked a bunch of odds and ends jobs, and Mike kind of bounced back and forth from a couple of jobs that year too. It was kind of a rough. It was actually a very scary year leading up to the wedding because neither of us could like just like really get it together.
Pretty bad.
It was rough. We were panicking, but God, because like that's really all I could say was on the very same day, literally 5 minutes apart in like end of January or like early February.
CVS.
We were in CVS shopping. And I got a phone call and I walked away, and then Mike got a phone call and walked away.
Right.
And both phone calls were us being offered our first jobs, the job that Mike still works at now, and my very first job out of college, which was my first like big girl job, I call it. Because of these new jobs, we were kind of in this new financial position.
Right.
And so...
And that's the way...
We went to the mall.
We went to the mall.
Because I needed new work pants for my job.
Right. And we needed to get your ring appraised.
Well, while we were there, you were like, oh, I should take your ring to get it appraised or cleaned or something. I don't know, something. And I was just like, okay, well, here, take it. And I gave it to him. And I was like, I'm going to go in Old Navy and look for work pants.
She's shopping around at one of the stores. And I brought the ring to the jeweler's. Had it either cleaned or appraised. I don't remember.
I don't remember what you said you were doing.
I might have just got it cleaned. I think that was my excuse to get it cleaned. And then, so here I am getting a ring cleaned. What I'm really doing is looking at other rings because I wanted to trade that ring in to get a better ring. So that's what I did. I went and got a better ring, a bigger ring, traded in, and then she's
the ring I'm wearing.
That's the ring you're wearing right now.
Yeah.
And then
you came and found me.
I saw you in Old Navy.
You called me and I was like, oh, I'm here. So then you came and I was like, where's my ring? And you were like, oh, they're really busy. It's gonna take them some time. So I was like, well, I'm done shopping and I don't want to spend any more money. So we should probably leave the mall. Like, what are we gonna do? Because we're gonna have to come back to pick up this ring.
We were also close to our venue.
But the mall was actually very close to our wedding venue. And so Mike was like, well, why don't we take a look at the wedding venue again? And I was like, it's snowing. We were in February. Yeah. I was like, it's snowing. And he was like, oh, so what? It's fine. We'll go out. It's right there.
Kill time.
Yeah, so we went over to the wedding venue and we were walking around kind of taking a look at like where we could take pictures or whatever. And I'm talking and I'm walking. And all of a sudden I realized that like he's not next to me anymore. And I like look back and this time he actually remembered.
I remember this time to get on my knee. and I proposed to you again.
Yes. Yes.
This time with the ring that I felt like you deserved.
Yes, and he had a very sweet speech.
I did.
About how he wanted to do it again with the ring that I deserved.
With the ring that I've originally envisioned.
And I love my ring. And I said yes, obviously, because we're married. I said yes before I was saying it. So I was like, listen, I thought about it. Actually, I changed my mind. No. So obviously, I said yes, and I accepted said ring. Anytime. Yeah, and I remember being so excited because I was like, oh my gosh, it's so beautiful. It's like everything that I would have picked out if I could pick out a ring for myself, which I didn't do initially. But I was like, but what happened to my other ring? And he was like, well, I had to trade it in as part of getting this ring. And I was like, but that's my ring. And that was the ring that you asked me to marry you with. So like, I was a little sad. I couldn't be mad at him because it was such a sweet, like romantic, incredible gesture. But I was a little sad because like, I mean, like, my ring is beautiful and I love it, but I don't really care, like, about jewelry. Like, it wasn't a big deal to me.
It was for me.
You disliked the ring more than I disliked the initial ring. I didn't care that it was small.
It was really for me. I didn't want you walking around and then your friends ask, hell, let me see the ring. And then you pull out this tiny little pebble. Like, it was really for me. It's not good.
It was for Mike's ego. So that's our proposal story. It's not like it's not a grand story. There were no hot air balloons or fireworks. If you think about it, the initial proposal was like a semi-disaster. Like, I got sick after dinner. We went for a walk on a cold beach. I was freezing and I couldn't hear you. I couldn't see the ring. Like,
it was bad.
It was rough. It was rough, but still amazing.
It was still a nice time.
Still an incredible time. Still a great proposal. Not to plan anything insane. I think that no matter what your proposal is, it can still be really special, even if it's just kind of disastrous like ours. Like, it's just funny, but it's sweet and it's our story and I love it. But I think like in today's world with like Instagram and Pinterest and like this whole this social media perfection, like everything has to look so perfect, and I'm kind of glad that we got engaged like before that was all really a thing, and that there was no
like,
pressure
as soon as we got married,
to have a perfect proposal.
Like right after we got married, that's when Instagram and Pinterest.
Well, we had Instagram.
Wanted you to live this lifestyle.
Well, we had Instagram and Pinterest existed.
It just wasn't like
people weren't using it.
now.
Yes, people weren't using it the way they're using it now.
Right.
It wasn't a business. You were literally just taking like really horrible, grainy photos of things and sharing them with like your friends.
Like your food or
like you weren't
restaurants you go to or whatever.
Yeah, it wasn't the way, things weren't curated the way that they are now, and so you didn't feel any pressure to like have this perfect proposal. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed our proposal stories. If you did, you can give this video a thumbs up. You can leave any questions or comments down below. Don't forget to subscribe for more videos from the Total Tribe in the future, and I'll see you guys in the next one.
Ciao.